Welcome to Outlook. I'm Beth Voorhees. Throughout this month, we're going to show you some of our favorite programs that examine civil rights, growth issues, and coalfield controversies. We'll also sit down with our poet laureate, Irene McKinney. But tonight, we bring you Big Ears in the Mountains, a winner of a regional Edward R. Murrow Award. This Outlook examines a base in Pendleton County that plays a key role in the government's interception of communications. It first aired in March of 2006, just a few months after the revelation of the Bush administration's domestic surveillance program. This month, a federal appeals court in Cincinnati upheld the controversial program. We'll have more on that ruling later on. First, here's Big Ears in the Mountains.
The CIA is the highest profile intelligence agency in the world, but the CIA is not the largest and does not provide most of America's intelligence information. That designation belongs to the National Security Agency.
It's between 2 and 3 times the size of the CIA. It's by far the most important intelligence agency in the United States. It supplies maybe 80% of, between 70 and 80% of all the intelligence for the United States.
When it comes to the NSA, it's been said that those who know don't say, and those who say don't know. Journalist and author James Bamford is the exception to that rule. Bamford's first book, The Puzzle Palace, in 1982, is widely credited as the first major work about the NSA, and the most extensive book about the agency was released in 2001, Bamford's Body of Secrets: Anatomy of the Ultra-Secret National Security Agency. The Puzzle Palace was the first work to disclose the significance of Sugar Grove. In that book, Bamford describes the Sugar Grove of the 1970s. He said it used a few large satellite dishes aimed mostly at international phone calls and Russian submarine communications. Now, he says, its focus and equipment are changing.
Maybe more of the smaller dishes, which are kind of interesting because smaller dishes are what you use for domestic intelligence.
What goes on at Sugar Grove has changed a lot since the release of the Puzzle Palace, and especially since September 11, 2001. The NSA facility is a few miles north of the community it's named for. It's hidden by thick woods and narrow ridges. Security is intense but hardly visible. The Sugar Grove dishes are also hard to spot. This video was shot from a ridgeline about 10 miles away near the Virginia border. Bamford examined these pictures, looking for the huge antennas called elephant cages designed to listen in on Russian submarines. He said they have been removed since the last time he visited the site after 9/11. In their place are 5 smaller dishes of the type used to pick up U.S. communications.
You need the big ones to get the satellites over the Atlantic, which are for the international calls. But if you're just collecting signals from a domestic satellite, you just need the little dish. And they had a lot of those little dishes there.
To understand why those small dishes are significant, it's important to back up about 60 miles to Edom in Preston County. There is an AT&T downlink station at Edom. It's estimated that half of U.S. commercial international satellite communications go through here.
The whole reason for it being there is Edom, West Virginia is just up the road, and that's the main downlink for the ComSat satellites, the commercial international satellites. And this is like a bug, it's there catching the same signals coming in.
The Sugar Grove base has a rather odd history. In 1958, the West Virginia legislature established a radio silence zone to protect the sensitive work at nearby Green Bank Radio Observatory. Soon after, the Navy decided the silence zone was also a good place to put a 600-foot-in-diameter dish to capture secret Russian radio signals reflected off the moon.
How do you do, ladies and gentlemen? Nick Vasso reporting from Washington.
In 1959, Huntington TV station WSAZ broadcast a half-hour interview with Robert Page, the research director of the National Naval Research Laboratory in Washington, D.C. The topic was Sugar Grove, which was under construction. Page said the topography of Pendleton County and the radio silence zone made the location ideal. He also lied about the base's mission. He said it was going to be another radio observatory, and he said people would be allowed to see the big dish.
After the station is completed, there will have to be some provision made for the general public so that they can view the installation, which I predict will be one of the 7 wonders of the world.
Page did make one oblique reference to the moon bounce mission when talking about security.
This is a military installation. It is a Navy installation, and it will be used by the Navy for research in communication. It will probably be used in that function for most of the time that the moon is visible, because it will be used to communicate through the moon in this new method of communication which came out of this project called communication by moon relay.
Ken Heckler was a freshman congressman from West Virginia in 1959. He helped arrange this interview and took part in it. He now admits that at the time he had little clue about the military's intentions for Sugar Grove.
We were not informed, actually, what the specific role of Sugar Grove was by the Navy at that time, because it was a super secret operation. And even though I was a member of the Space Committee, I had no idea that there was anything very different at Sugar Grove than was actually going on at Green Bank.
The technology for listening to Russian communications reflected off the moon proved unworkable. The site was almost abandoned, but under pressure from Senator Robert Byrd, the Pentagon shifted Sugar Grove's focus to listening in on other kinds of communications. In the 1960s, Sugar Grove became one of the NSA's most important Cold War facilities. In the last 4 years, it has taken on a more domestic focus.
Especially after the September 11th and the reduction in the laws protecting U.S. communications, the Patriot Act and so forth. And with the United States becoming a target itself internally, there's been a tendency to focus on internal communications, domestic U.S. communications.
We spoke to Bamford in May of 2005, 7 months before the New York Times revealed the NSA's expanded domestic surveillance. But even then, he said those new dishes suggest a new mission at Sugar Grove.
It looked like a lot of those smaller dishes there, that's what they were designed for, was to eavesdrop on domestic communication satellites. And again, the footprint from a domestic satellite is the entire United States, so you can put it anywhere.